For about 800 years, the story between Britain and Ireland was pretty one-sided. You had the powerful empire, and then you had its poor colonial neighbor. But, what's happened in just the last few decades is one of the most incredible economic plot twists in modern history. So, how on earth did it happen?
The question we're really trying to wrap our heads around is almost hard to believe. How did the country that was systematically drained of its resources and its people for centuries
end up on a per-person basis twice as wealthy as its former ruler? It sounds completely made up, but as you're about to see, the numbers are very, very real.
Just take a look at this. The gap is absolutely staggering. Right now, Ireland is pulling in a GDP per capita of over $100,000. The UK? It's sitting at less than $50,000. This isn't just a comeback story. This is a complete rewriting of the script.
Now, to really understand just how radical this shift is, we got to quickly rewind the clock and look at the history that set this whole thing up. For centuries, Ireland was basically a British possession. Its own industries were suppressed, the Great Famine was an unimaginable catastrophe. And even after finally getting independence in 1921, it just seemed like Ireland was doomed to be Britain's poorer cousin forever. By the 1980s, the country was a basket case, staring down the barrel of total economic collapse.
But it's often when you hit rock bottom that you're willing to make the boldest moves. And from this place of pure desperation, Ireland made a bet so big, so wild, it would change its fate forever.
Just try to picture it. Unemployment was at a horrifying 15%. The government was drowning in debt. And the most heartbreaking part? The best and brightest young Irish people were doing what their ancestors did, fleeing the country, heading for London or America just to get a job. Ireland was on its knees.
So, backed into a corner, they did something nobody else had the guts to do. They put out a massive open for business sign to the entire world. And it all came down to this one beautiful number, 12.5%.
And this right here, this shows you just how genius that gamble was. On one side, you've got Britain and pretty much the rest of Europe, with corporate tax rates up over 30%. On the other, Ireland basically slashed its rates to almost nothing, an unbelievable 12.5. This was a giant, blinking neon sign for every major company on the planet.
The pitch from Dublin was so simple, it was brilliant. Hey, global corporations, come to Ireland. We all speak English. Our legal system is one you're already familiar with. Oh, and by setting up here, you get a golden ticket to the entire European market. And the best part? We'll barely tax you.
And boy did they come. It wasn't a trickle, it was a flood. Apple was one of the first. Then came Intel, then Google, then Facebook. You name a giant in tech or pharmaceuticals. Pfizer, Amazon, Microsoft, they all came rushing in, pouring billions into the country and creating thousands upon thousands of high-paying jobs. But here's the thing, that super low tax rate, that was just Act 1. The second part of this master plan was about how Ireland and Britain chose two completely different adventures inside the European Union, which brings us to our next point.
See, both countries joined the European Club way back in 1973, but they treated their membership cards totally differently. Ireland said thank you very much, took billions in EU money and used it to build a modern country. New roads, new bridges, new schools. Britain, well, it started to really resent all the rules coming from Brussels, and this deep anti-Europe feeling started to grow.
And all that simmering resentment, it finally boiled over in 2016 with the Brexit vote. And from a purely economic perspective, wow, it was a spectacular, self-inflicted wound.
Almost overnight, Britain slammed the door on the world's biggest single market. All that easy, free trade, was gone, replaced by a total nightmare of new taxes, customs checks, and mountains of paperwork. And all those companies that used London as their gateway to Europe, they now needed a new home inside the EU, one that spoke English. Many of them packed up and moved straight to Dublin.
And Ireland was ready for them. See, while they were cutting corporate taxes, they were also doing something else incredibly smart, investing in their people. They poured money into free and low-cost university education, creating this amazing pool of skilled workers. Meanwhile, Britain was doing the opposite, jacking up tuition fees and not investing enough in training, which caused their productivity to just kind of stall out.
Okay, so let's address the elephant, or maybe I should say the leprechaun in the room. A lot of critics, and they have a fair point, look at these incredible Irish numbers and say, hang on a second, is this all for real?
It's a concept called leprechaun economics, and the gist is this. Giant companies like Apple and Google legally channel their massive global profits through their little Irish offices to get that sweet 12.5% tax rate. So on paper, it makes Ireland's GDP look gigantic, even though some of that money is just passing through on its way to somewhere else.
So the big question is it all just smoke and mirrors? Well, here's the fascinating part. Even when you use a more accurate metric, one that filters out all that multinational money shuffling, Ireland is still significantly richer per person than Britain. The lead is smaller, for sure, but it's definitely still there.
And this isn't just about numbers on a spreadsheet. We're talking about real life. For the average person living in Ireland today, wages are higher. It's easier to find a job. And overall, their standard of living has now completely leapfrogged the UK's. The success is real.
So when you boil it all down, what we're really seeing is a masterclass in economic strategy. Ireland, the small, nimble country, made some incredibly smart, decisive choices. They went all in on low taxes and Europe, while Britain took a very different road, with very different results.
It really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? This story is bigger than just two islands. It's a playbook for how countries can succeed or fail in our modern, globalized world. There's an old quote that says, "History doesn't repeat, but if you don't understand it, it will crush you all the same."
This whole episode proves just how quickly the economic map of the world can be redrawn. And it leaves us with one final massive question to chew on. What's the next great economic reversal, and where is it going to happen?